and welcome back to the Mind of an Interior Designer podcast. I am your host, Ellie Fenlon, also known as Fenloninteriors. Now, before I even start, I relaunched this podcast back in January, and it's been a long 5 months, has it been, since I promised weekly episodes. I know it's given embarrassing. It's given, where the hell have you been? I know, I'm so sorry. Like, I had all good intentions at the start of the year, and I've been an absolute letdown, but that doesn't stop us, because your girlie realised herself and she was like, right, what brings me joy? And that is obviously this podcast. So I was like, I need to start recording again. So, I mean, if you're new here, you're probably going to think, what was all that waffle? So I do apologise. If you're into anything home, interiors, all that sort of stuff, design, you've come to the right place, because this is the podcast that you need to be listening to, because we're going off on the right foot from now on, okay? So today's episode is a really exciting one. If you follow me on all my social platforms, you'll know I got invited to the Chelsea Flower Show. No, I know. I can't believe it either. Honestly, that email was probably like one of the peaks of my career. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, this is huge. Like, wait till we delve into this episode. But I just want to say a huge thank you to the RHS for inviting me down, because when I say that this show has been on my vision board, I am not even messing. It has been on my vision board for years. I have literal visual footage of it on my vision board, and I can't believe it. I don't think anyone who followed me could believe it. Like, a girl from Liverpool getting invited to a Chelsea Flower Show is just absolutely incredible. So today we're going to talk about the Chelsea Flower Show. I might be telling you a few behind the scenes of what went down at Chelsea Flower Show. Also going to be talking about garden design mainly. I've got to cheat, really, haven't I? Because it's June, and it really is screaming British summertime even, because it's raining outside. It's June. It's June. It's just an absolute joke. So yeah, I want to talk to you about like everything that I picked up at the flower show for those who didn't go or didn't get on the guest list. You know, it's tough times out here. It really is. And I want to tell you how you can start incorporating the inspo that I got from Chelsea Flower Show into your own home. So without further ado, let's start the podcast. So, the Chelsea Flower Show. Where do I even begin? Where do I even begin? I mean, if you follow me on all my social platforms, you'll have probably seen the up-to-date, like, as I was going around the show, content. And if you're new here and you don't follow me, it's given rude. It's given rude that you've checked into the podcast and don't follow me on all my other social accounts. So it is at Fenloninteriors. If you do want to go over there, as I say, if you're into home, interior, lifestyle, and just a bit of personality from myself, you know. I can't help myself with a few jokes, you know. So the flower show, for anyone who doesn't know, it is a big event in the social calendar for not only, I think, the garden community, the floral community, but also the design community in general. It is the largest flower show in the world, I believe. Monty told me that. He did. Not, unfortunately, himself, because that was another thing. Celeb spotting. We'll get to that, but I didn't see Monty Don, but it ruined my trip. I'm not going to lie, it usually ruined my trip. But the Chelsea Flower Show is absolutely spectacular. It is amazing. It was actually my first time going, so I've never been before. I couldn't recommend it enough. I did do a vlog actually over on the YouTube channel. If you do want to watch that, please go ahead. It's quite a light watch, but it is absolutely incredible. They have all amazing exhibitors. I noticed a lot that there was a lot of charitable ones this year, and honestly touched the heartstrings of mine. Got a bit of emotion, feeling a bit of emotion, because I'm going to speak about these exhibits that I've seen, and obviously a lot of them got awards as well. I wasn't there for them, but yeah, they got awards, and I seen them on the telly, and I was like emotional, because like when you actually sit there, well, walk past and, you know, interact with these floral displays, it really is like there's just this vibe about flowers. And I think since going to that show, I've really become in touch with the florals in my life as well. And now it makes sense as to why I really love getting gifted flowers, because there's just a vibe about it, and it's just, yeah, we'll get into that anyway. But yeah, all the exhibitors are picked for their amazing work, and then they only have a short period of time to actually convert their sort of stand, as you will, into a show garden. And honestly, kudos to them, because I don't know how they turn it around that quick. I really don't. Like, obviously I watched the behind the scenes on the telly, and then for like to get there and see it all in the flesh is just like, wow, it's just incredible. It's just a whole experience of the garden, like from the design, you know, obviously I'm an interior girly, but like exterior design is so crucial to actually the whole end product of what they've produced, not only in the floral design but also in the landscape design, and also the furnishings and the structures that they chose was so important. It made me realise, I'm going to touch on this today, how important outdoor design is just as much as indoor design. Like indoor design, interior design, am I alright? But you know what I mean. Like it's just, I just feel like it's underrated. And I say this about interior design anyway, but the fact that our garden, outdoor space, you know, whether it's small or large, it doesn't matter. Again, we'll get into that. I really am digressing right now. But if you've not been to the Chelsea Flower Show, please go and enjoy the experience. Like, it was just superb. I was actually really embarrassed, and actually I'm going to expose myself here. There were so many celebs, and I don't know what it is with me, but I feel very, I wouldn't say like out of my depth. Well, a little bit, because everyone there was like full on like famous, like not famous, you know what I mean? And like, I was just like, I was quite embarrassing really. There was a few I seen that I didn't actually speak to, like Rob, Braden, and like David off, like, was I like, you know, why am I saying these people? He's probably like, are you alright? But like, Alan Tishmarsh was there, and like, he had like a PA, and like, they were trying to get from like one thing to the next, so like, I couldn't grab a picture with him, and I was like, loads of like, just like, I got a picture of Paul Hollywood. He didn't unfortunately give me a handshake, but that's because he has not tasted my lemon loaf. He would be really rooting for that lemon loaf. But it was honestly just such an incredible experience. Like, I don't know, it's just like when you see celebs in person, like, it's just weird, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, you see these people on the telly, and then they're actually standing in front of you, and you're like, hey, can I have a picture? I mean, I only asked for one picture, but to be fair, I went rogue and I would have asked everyone, but I thought, you know, when you've got to like, because obviously you're at a press day, so it's like a big deal, and like, I can't embarrass myself because I'm amongst these people, do you know what I mean? And then I'm like shouting like for a celeb photo, like, who am I? No, it's given embarrassing. Yeah, I couldn't, but I wanted to, do you know what I mean? But it was such a funny day. Like, I had such a fun day, and as I say, the vlog is so funny. But yeah, the flower show itself is amazing. And I just wanted to talk about some of the actual exhibitors that I've seen at the show, and some of like my top favourites, and just talk to you about like how important I felt it was for me to go, to be honest with you, and how interesting it was. Like, there's so much depth in not only florals but also design, and it sort of like re-inspired me, because sometimes in this job role, being in design, you can feel uninspired, and it's great if you're out there and you are in this community and you don't know where to find inspiration, especially if you're working for yourself. It's so hard. Like, I really struggle with that. So I feel like it's really good to go to these events and put yourself out there, put yourself out your comfort zone. Like, I got my own I make a full day in London, like full 2 days in London. I was living best life. I'm actually gutted, I would like to add. They actually have Chelsea and Bloom, which is like all the shops do like their fixtures and fittings at the front in these gorgeous florals, and some of them were amazing. I seen like the sushi, is it Sticks and Sushi, that restaurant? I love it there. They did like a big sushi thing. They had like, there was a head with like all flowers out. Who else? Oh, Penhaligon's. Theirs was gorgeous. I love Penhaligon's anyway. But there was so many shop fronts that did it, and there's like a map that you can follow. And I was like, why didn't I stay another day? So next year, if I get invited back, because they might be like, oh god, embarrassing girly, like asking for celeb photos, I might not get an invite next year. So yeah, if I get an invite, manifesting it again, I'll defo do that and get some content for you. So yeah, that's literally 12 months away, but I'm sorry, we're already 6 months into the year, like, vile, like, actually violently ill. So I'll be probably at the Chelsea Flowers 2025 tomorrow. Like, that's how fast time's go. It's not the one. Anyway, I go off on one, don't I? This is my problem. Like, once I start, there's no stopping me. Do you know what I mean? So one of my top favourite gardens was actually called, well, it was based around microbiome. So it was called the Microbiome Garden. And it was actually for cancer research. So it was for the bowel cancer. It was such a beautiful, beautiful display. And it was really nice as well. So actually once I went to the show and I come home on the same day. And And when I got home, I actually made a little cameo on the telly. I got a little 2 seconds, just a little wiggle in the corner. But now when I got home, it was really interesting because obviously they have like signs up telling you about the displays and things. But I actually watched the show on the telly as well. And it was really interesting. So I am very much a person, if you don't already know, I'm really interested in like the microbiome of our bodies. There's also a really interesting Netflix show on, by the way, if you're really interested in it. If you get scared by stuff like that, by the way, maybe not watch it. But it's really interesting to see the connection that the belly has with our brain and vice versa in controlling our body. And that show is really good. But also I loved that these guys who did this display did medical research in creating a landscape design that actually scientifically helps the microbiome in our gut, which I think is incredible. Like, this is literally what florals are doing, like, for us. So it'd be really interesting for you to do your research on that. But I'm just going to read out the florals that were featured in it. I can't for the life of me say any of these names. So if you're a flower person and you're like, oh my God, I agree. Oh my God, indeed. So the feature plants were Pescaria bistorta, Camassia, and Lupin luteus. I do like lupins, but I just call them lupins. I don't call them the same thing. So yeah, it was yellow, blues, and pinks amongst them florals. They are actually an edible meadow. So I think, I don't know what it is. Oh, I should have done my research before the podcast of Morrison, isn't it? I think you can actually, I don't know whether it's the soil or something, but basically they're edible, so it helps your microbiome, and then also being around the flowers that they've chosen scientifically helps your microbiome, which helps your brain. And obviously they are based around bowel cancer, so it'd be really interesting if maybe you are going through something like that yourself to look into that, because I just think, wow, I didn't even know that. And I'm really into like the microbiome in my gut. I actually have gone plant-based due to that. It's just really interesting. So yeah, definitely look that up. That was like, I think that was my top fave. They won a award, but I don't know which one. Wow, I know it's giving me an embarrassing podcast episode already, isn't it? Sorry. Then another one of my faves was called Money Doesn't Grow on a Tree. So basically it was this really relaxed. They actually did a lot of filming in this one. So it was a very popular display. I couldn't think of the word then. Popular display, and basically all of the fixtures that they'd done, they did this like gazebo made out of stone, but it was all like free, basically, like next to nothing, and they created this like calm and serene garden. Like, you literally could pick it up and put it into your house. And the idea is, obviously money doesn't grow on trees, is that it doesn't have to cost a fortune to create an amazing outdoor space. And I was like, wow, that's so true. Like, a lot of it was like recycled materials, reused plant. And that's actually another thing as well, if you're wondering where all that stuff out of Chelsea goes. Some of them had done like displays like in like for charities even, that were going to hospitals afterwards, so they do actually get picked up or reutilised in some way. It doesn't just go to scrap kind of thing. So just in case you're thinking that. But yeah, it just shows that a garden doesn't have to cost the world, and it really doesn't. And after I've spoke about all these gardens, I am gonna touch on how we can create an amazing outdoor sanctuary. But anyway, a few more of my favourites. There was another one called Burma Skincare. So they were doing like, again, that sort of serene, outdoorsy, like, I don't know about you guys, but like the outdoors for me, like, not that I'm someone who goes mountain walking every Sunday or anything, but like when I'm in our garden, like, I love to work in our garden. I love to sit out in the sunshine. I love to be like, I really love our outdoor garden space, and that is literally down to mum and dad creating that unreal serene space. And I'm worried that like when I actually move out, how am I going to get it to this? Because like they have just created something amazing. It's literally top tier. Like, I mean, I have to say, I do love it. It's like I'm on holiday, and that's the vibe. Like, I want to feel like I'm on holiday in my garden. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, the skincare was like the idea of bringing both like everything that we have as humans, like I just feel like it all flowed for me, like when I was walking around, like sort of the microbiome with the gut, the facials going on, like how the health of ourselves can be determined. Because when you think about it, like evolution, we were always outside and then we've ended up going in. So it's kind of like our bodies naturally know that our bodies need to be outside. So the fact that we are neglecting ourselves from going outside is just not normal. And that's probably why the whole microbiome things come about, and the whole like bowel research and things like that fascinates me so much, because I'm just like, design is so important. And you know, I literally say it all the time, but like I'm such an advocate of design being so important. But like I think now more than ever, it's great to see science and design actually coming together, which is really interesting for me. Because actually when I was in uni, I did my dissertation on like well, it's not scientific, but like it is, do you know what I mean? So it was about like the productivity in the workplace, and I actually did a lot on biophilic design, which is obviously introducing greenery and plants and things into the office space. And I'm really funny, girlie got a first on that. It was so interesting because I thought, I'm doing a business degree, but I want to bring interior design and business together, and that was the way I did it. And you know, it worked out so well because it was so interesting for me. And I think that's why I find this so interesting, and I love going to events like this, because I'm like really interested in like actually the science behind design. It's so important, like so important. Anyway, going from sort of that to something quite deep, they did a grief garden with Sue Ryder. So it was for anyone who needed space to be given the space to grieve. And I'm being funny, when I walked past that, I had a tear in my eye, and I'm not even saying that sarcastically. I'm saying that because I genuinely was upset walking past it. Like, it was so, I don't know, you know when, like, what's that word people use where it's like, it's not serene, is it? But like, where there's just like a chill in the air, but not in a bad way, just like just silence. Like, all the flowers that had been used were all like green and white and blue, and you could literally just see through these like vines of grass through, and then there was just a bench sitting there on its own, and you were welcome to sit there. And I just think, wow, like it was so serene. I think that is the word, where you just don't realise the effect that the florals around you are having. Like, if they'd have been bright and crazy and like, you know, what other maybe setups had, you're more like, your brain's like, oh, do you know what I mean? But I just felt like I could have gone and sat on that bench. So I just think it's an amazing concept, and I think it's something that is actually going to be introduced out and about, you know, like hospices and things like that. It's a really nice thing to incorporate, and I think it's really important as well. There was also the Saatchi Gallery were there. They did an amazing display, and the message behind that as well was amazing. But as well as, obviously, so if you haven't been, obviously they have the show gardens, and then as well as that, they actually have what I absolutely loved was all the exterior outdoor furniture stalls. Girlie was in her element. And I spoke to a lovely girl, I can't remember her name, I'm so sorry. I mean, not that she might be listening to the podcast, actually, I'd be honoured if she was. So Andrew Martin was there. Now, his setup, I'm speechless. It was amazing. There was like this big, I'll explain, but there was like an outdoor furniture set with the outdoor cushions. Now, I thought the outdoor cushions that I'd seen were for indoor. No, they were outdoor use. Like, you should have seen them. The quality was immaculate. I think they're like £100 each, which, like, you could go, that's expensive, but actually it's probably an investment, because they're never gonna date because of the designs that he does. And also they're an investment for your garden. Like, the quality's never, let's be real, the quality's staying there for life. Do you know what I mean? I wanted every single one of them cushions. Like, I could have come home with them all. Like, I'm gonna be lethal when I move out. Lethal. It's quite concerning. Anyway, so there was that, and then there was like this waterfall at the back, and then to the left there was like a big table, chairs, and then there was what I could only describe as like a big tree house with all like a Harry Potter style tree. Anyway, this girl comes over to me, and she was like, talking about like the design procedure, landscape designer. She was like, do you want to know more about it? I was like, yes, let me get my notes out. I was like typing in front of her. She was like, who's this weirdo coming over with flipping notes out, taking notes? So I was like, oh my god, yeah, tell me everything you know. So she was like, well, this was in the Skyfall film, this was in I think they were called Pinewood Studios. This was in Harry Potter. That's been taken from that, and I was like, oh my god, I'm literally within like a James Bond film right now. It was insane. Like, I was literally like, this cannot be real. Like, I was proper like having a mooch, like having a wander, and I must have been like quite embarrassing because I was like, no way to this girl. She must have thought, oh, why have I picked this girl to explain this to? But it was just amazing. Like, again, movie set design, flower show, like outdoor landscape design. It all comes together. Like, honestly, it's all so close knit. Like, I went to a fashion show last night. One of my friends was doing one in Liverpool. It was like, I think the first fashion show in Liverpool, I don't know, but first one I've ever been to. And I felt so inspired because I was like, wow, all them designs are gorgeous. And I was thinking, how can I take inspo from the catwalk back to interiors? Like, it's honestly, design is so, it's just a big circle, like, and everyone's in the middle. Like, we're all helping each other out. Science has thought, let me come over and give you a hand as well now. Like, we're all linking up, and I love it. I love that I'm a part of it. I love design. Like, it just makes me so happy. So yeah, there was also other amazing furniture designers there as well, it was just so fascinating. I loved every minute of it, as you can tell. Like, I know it was a few weeks ago, but now that I'm reliving it and speaking to you about it, I get so excited. Like, that's why I love this podcast and why I've come back to it, because I could talk about anything interior design or design till I'm blue in the face, and instead you guys are going to listen to me for the next 6 months until the end of the year. So obviously it's boss going to these shows, it's boss talking to you about it, boss talking to you about the science, how we're all interlinked, etc, etc. But I know you're sitting there or driving or however listening to me and thinking, well, yeah, I get that, but like, I only have a yard, or I only have a balcony, or, you know, I don't know what to do with my space. So I'm going to tell you how to create an outdoor sanctuary and not have to spend a fortune either, because I just feel like I just want to make everyone feel good about the home, their interiors, the garden. I want you to go home and feel amazing. Like, that is literally, I feel like, what I've been put on this planet to do. That's my calling in life. So if you take something from this podcast, that makes me happy. And if you do let me know over on socials. And if you are enjoying this episode, don't forget to subscribe as well, because it does mean the world. And also just helps me out, you know, helps me keep recording, you know. Gilly's on her own right now. I need you. So yeah, first off, why are we thinking that garden design has to be so like mountainous? Like, you know, when you go to a field, like, why do we think we have to start there? I think that's what everyone presumes a garden is. You're absolutely wrong. So I've actually just seen a girl on Instagram, can't for the life of me think of her name. She's literally, I thought, no word of a lie, she was like doing a reel. I'll have to tag her or on my socials, whatever. And she, like, I thought it was a living room. There was a big fireplace, like chair set, curtains up. And then when she zoomed out, it was a garden. She just like plonked this full on, like, well, I'll say plonked, it was placed in a very good place, you know. But it was like right outside the house. And when she zoomed out, I thought, oh my God. Saved. Absolutely saved, because I need that in my house. So that made me realise, why are we so like fixated on, like, you know, you need grass and you need, you know, this, that and the other, when really cleverly we're just moving our living room quite literally outdoors and creating this living room outside. And also what I love as well, another quick, easy, cheap concept, like if you've got a little patio going on, you know, if you've got bifold doors, French doors, whatever doors you've got, the tile that you've got in that like latter outdoor space, bring it out, bring it onto your patio. You know, forget decking. I'm not a big fan of decking, you know, I'm not gonna lie. I just feel like if you've got tiles, say, and you've got like an extension maybe, and that's like where you go outside, your tiles, the same tiles go outside, like the same marry up, because when you open them bifold, you've got one continuous space. You haven't just got two separate sections. And that's this idea of bringing the whole design together. Like, we shouldn't actually be partitioning them. And as I said earlier, I love sitting outside, and so should you. You should love your outdoor space. You know, if you've got a balcony, do the same there. And I know people struggle. Little table and chairs, get some flowers, you know, you can get hanging baskets, get some nice, I think with a balcony, a small space yard, it's great to actually, even like I've seen loads of people in yards do like them benches and create their own storage, little barbecue area. I'm just loving that. Would be my dream, you know, like I want to be the house that everyone comes to, and we have like a pizza oven in the back garden. Like I love the way people have outdoor kitchens. I know they're not the cheapest, and I'm trying to give affordable options, I get that, but you know, a girlie can dream. It's on the vision board. I mean, Chelsea was on the vision board, so you know, the pizza oven's on the vision board. You know, I feel like they're on the same wave at some point, you know what I mean? But like, it's creating that environment that you want, and you want to create a space where you can invite people over, you can create memories. Like, it shouldn't be a scarce place to start. Again, start looking in the garden centres at florals, start doing your research, find what your favourite colours are. You'd be surprised. I think a lot of people's favourite colours that they have in their home, like look at your wallpaper and then go to the garden centre, flip and take your wallpaper roll with you and think, do you know what, that's a vibe. Like, imagine if you had the same, I'm just thinking about it now, if you had like really maximalist like wallpaper in like your extension, and then you had your tiles, and then it went out to the garden, and then you had all these bright, amazing, like a palm tree, gorgeous florals, like in bright colours. Like, I'm just obsessed. Like, that would be a huge vibe. Like, it's creating your personality outside. Like, your personality should be shown in your interior, but also optimising that flow into the outdoor space is just, it's hard. Like, I get it. Like, you have to sort of like really be into landscape design. Go on Pinterest. I love Pinterest. I have a million boards, like garden design one. Like, I want to create something that's like kind of like more for me, I think, because I quite like an Ibiza style like outdoor beach club. That's the vibe I want in my garden, and my garden will look like an Ibiza beach club. There's no harm in you not doing that. Like, get a tiki bar if that's like more affordable. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all these little options and things like that. But all I'm saying is, it doesn't matter how you do it or what you do. It's just optimizing your outdoor space to create that flow. That's the same as your inside as your outside. You'll also find it more enjoyable looking out your windows, because you don't want to be looking out the windows to like bins in the corner, you know, uncut grass. I'm a big fan of fresh grass. I know we're all going for the AstroTurf and things, but I do love normal grass. I'm not gonna lie, I can't sway away from that. Get really big trees as well planted. We planted some. I think we got them from Aldi like 6 years ago, and at the time I think they were going to take 10 years to grow. We're nearly 4 years off that, but at the time I was like, oh my god, they're going to take forever. And all of a sudden they're outside there now. I'm thinking, flipping heck, they're huge. So honestly, there's just so many different things you can do, and obviously if you ever want any help or guidance, I can do so in the best way I can over on my socials. More than happy to answer anyone's questions, even though it do take 3 to 5 working days or months, who knows. But yeah, no, I'll try and be as much help as possible. So yeah, now usually I do at the end of this episode have a question from the audience, but there is no audience at the minute because Ellie's been on the missing list for 6 months. So yeah, if you do have a question for next week's episode, because it will be next week, I'm putting out there, so I have to do it for next week. Yeah, please do message me. I actually have a page for the podcast of the Mind of an Interior Designer, so you can check that out for all the updates, you know, the mini videos that I do put over there. And if you do enjoy this podcast, share it with your mates as well. Like, honestly, it's all about helping each other out, helping each other grow. No pun intended on a planned podcast. But no, I do hope I've helped you in some way. I do hope you've enjoyed the behind the scenes of the Chelsea Flower Show. And if you've never been, do make sure you get your ticket for next year. I don't think they're out yet. And also, if the RHS Chelsea Flower Show are for some reason listening to this podcast, thank you so much for inviting me. And please invite me back next year, because everyone's just loved this episode, clearly. But if I could take one thing away from it, it is definitely making sure that you are going out there to, whether it be events, garden centres, home stores, Pinterest, and find inspiration wherever you can. And obviously at the end of the day, it's what makes you happy, nobody else. So make sure you create the space that you love. So yeah, it's been a blast again, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next episode.